Hello, thank you for staying with us on American Graduate Day. Now, those were some remarkable stories. The rest of this hour, we are talking about special needs communities. According to the National Center for Education statistics, sadly, only 67% of students with learning disabilities graduate high school with a regular diploma. This hour, we are looking at groups that are helping to change that staggering statistic. For just over a decade, Eye to Eye has existed as an organization that matches college students who have learning disabilities with middle school students who have similar issues. Now, this innovative mentorship pairing teaches kids that they are not alone in their disabilities, and it gives them the tools they need to be successful. I'm joined now by Eye to Eye Chief Operating Officer Marcus Sutra, mentor and chapter leader Sammy Stefanik, and Eye to Eye mentee Joseph Dennis. And Marcus, I'd like to start with you. You have dealt with dyslexia your entire life, but you are also ADHD. Tell me how that works.
Sure. Basically, my dyslexia, I would say the best way to explain that is I have an avoidance of text issue. And then with my ADHD, I just have really difficulty focusing in like high stimulating environments. So Times Square is not a good time for me. It's a dangerous place. So, but yeah, I went through school and really felt marginalized and alone by my experience in school and didn't really know anyone else with a learning difference. And when I ended up going on to college and kind of refusing a lot of my accommodations and, kind of really trying to stay away from the shame and doubt that is often associated with having a dyslexia or ADHD. And then ended up really wanting to go into education so that I can make a difference for other kids.
And you are certainly doing that with Eye to Eye. Talk to me a little bit about Eye to Eye and the projects your organization does to help other students.
Sure. So we are a mentor organization for people with learning disabilities by people with learning disabilities. And what we do is an art-based curriculum focused on social emotional skills. So focused on students' self-esteem, their self-advocacy skills, their metacognition, which is a fancy word for thinking about how you learn. So like a great project we'll do with the students, we do an art-based curriculum where they'll create a diorama that's their ideal learning environment. So you would create something that, how does that environment work for you? What do you need to have in that environment? Is it a distraction-free environment? What kind of accommodations do you need in that environment so that students can be successful in their classroom and in their life?
Sammy, how did you find Eye to Eye?
Well, I was a chapter coordinator for NYU, and I found that just being involved in the program and learning people, even at 20, learning with people that have similar disabilities that I do was just really encouraging for myself. And then being able to pass that on in the schools was great, and I loved working with the kids, and I was able to oversee the whole art room, which was a really special role because I got to see every kid come in and every one of them leave, and we do a lot of projects based on students talking about their strengths and weaknesses. And at the beginning of the semester, a lot of the kids struggle finding strengths. And even their strengths tend to not be very academic strengths. They could be they're a good friend, which is a great strength, but it's not that I provide a lot of really insightful thoughts in class, which they do, and they just don't see that as a strength. And at the end, there's still doubt, but the strengths come much easier, which is really beautiful to see.
And Joseph, you were language challenged when you were very young. Can you tell me a little bit about how that happened?
When I was a baby, I was talking at one point, and then one time I couldn't talk, I couldn't do anything. So my mom took me to the hospital, and the doctor said that I would never be able to speak, I would never be able to use my hands or communicate with people. When I was at home, I started speaking again when I was around 4 or 3, but
just suddenly you began speaking
yes.
again. But there were still issues that had to be resolved, and you found your way to Eye.
Yes.
Tell me what you loved about it.
All the activities were really good. They were really fun. It would really help me through all my schoolwork because a lot of the teachers said back then that I wouldn't be able to make it through 5th grade. I wouldn't be able to stand here and talk to you today. But I'm going to 8th grade. I'm going to high school now. And I know it's stressful.
But you know what? It's a good kind of stress.
Yeah.
It is.
All the parents who have kids who have learning disabilities should have kids going to Eye to Eye because it really helps people.
I have learned a great deal from the three of you. I thank you so much for coming and helping us better understand a field and an environment, a life that sometimes we don't always know as much about as we should. You've been terrific. I thank you all.
Thank you.
Well, Eye to Eye, as you can see, is doing a great job showing middle school kids with learning disabilities that their future really is bright. Now, are you at home already working to help students on the path to graduation? Log on to americangraduate.org and tell us your story. And stay tuned as our conversation about special needs continues.